If you are in the flip side, if you're representing a buyer, again, your documentation has to be clean, and also be patient. Limit your contingencies. Try to have all cash. If you can't have all cash, that's okay. But also make sure that everything's clean before you submit the offer. There are a couple of tips that I have here for you as practitioners. First of all, don't give advice you're not qualified to give. There is and this I'm sort of going against what I said earlier. Remember, I'm not a tax attorney, but there was the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007 that was passed and then reinstituted and expires in 2012 that says that if in a short sale situation the lender forgives a debt, that debt is not income to the borrower. In other words, if you borrow money, whether it's for a purchase or for whatever purpose, if you borrow money, that's income to you. If the bank is waiving the balance, they're essentially giving that money to you. Yes, you're not going to be able to realize it because you've lost value on the home, but they're essentially giving money to you. That normally is income. Under this law, it's no longer taxable income, so that's definitely a benefit. However, as agents, unless you're also a CPA, that's not something you should be representing to clients. Hire a tax attorney, hire a CPA who will be able to tell you whether a short sale is in your best interests. Another thing is that you may feel that you're in command of the legal ramifications of a short sale. Unless you are an attorney or you have an in-house attorney who you can consult with, I wouldn't make those representations either. The best thing to do is your job as an agent, which is don't give advice you're not qualified to give. Refer the client to a professional in the arena. Another thing is don't misrepresent the treatment of junior debt. In a foreclosure situation or a short sale situation, well, let me talk about the short sale situation first. In a short sale situation, say you have multiple liens on the property. You have a first, and you have a second and a third. The first is about to foreclose, and you work with the first and say, look, I want to go into a short sale. That doesn't mean that the junior debt goes away. It's just no longer secure. All right. The deeds of trust on the property are going to go away. They're going to get paid off, but the debt is still going to remain. One interesting thing about short sales is that once you complete a short sale transaction, if there's a first, a second, and a third, then the title does not relate back to the foreclosing note. It relates to the time at which the sale is completed. So the first lien is gone. The second and third are still there. You take title at a later point in time, meaning the first or two, the second and third is still there. Now, as a practical matter, they're going to get paid off, and they're probably going to release their liens. Forgive their debt as well because there's no way to collect. However, if you represent to your client that the debt's going to go away and they're not going to be responsible for that, that's not strictly true. In a foreclosure situation, it's slightly different. In a foreclosure, after it runs its course and goes to a trustee sale, same situation. You have a first, you have a second, and a third, right? If the first forecloses, title gets recorded, but it dates back to the date of the first. The second and third are wiped out. If you are a buyer, you take subject to whatever purchase price you pay for the first. The second and third you don't have to worry about. If you're a seller, those second and thirds are no longer secured, but they're still a debt that you owe. And unless the second and third are willing to release you, it's simply a debt. It's an IOU, and you're still going to have to owe them. You can always work something out with them. I shouldn't say always, but you can try to work something out with them. But the debt is still going to remain. So don't mischaracterize the treatment of junior debt. It's very important. One thing that sellers are going to ask you if you're representing sellers in a short sale situation is, well, if I do a short sale and there is this amount of debt, can they come after my other assets? And that gets into the difference between recourse debt and non-recourse debt, which I'll talk about in a little bit. A couple other tips. Make sure you hold the appropriate license. If you're also brokering a mortgage, make sure you're licensed to do so by the DRE. That requires a separate license. And then also don't facilitate transactions that don't appear on the HUD-1. The HUD-1 is the closing statement that you get, and it itemizes all the